Yeah, it's another short week, 6 days this time, really 5 days if you count our travel day. And it's been a good week so far. Obviously the turnaround's really quick. We gave the guys the day after the last game off. And, Middle Tennessee, I think our guys got a lot of respect. I got a lot of respect for their program. Obviously, Coach Stockstill and I worked together, got a lot of respect. He got a tremendous coaching staff. And their record is misleading. They've played probably the hardest schedule in our league. I mean, 2 SEC teams almost beat one of them. They've got really good players. And as I said, Stock's done a great job. I think they were 8-5 last year and won the bowl game. So, and our guys are smart enough to watch. They'll watch the film and see what the challenge is. So, last week's game, we enjoyed it. And for about 12 hours, and then we moved on. So we know the challenge this week. Head on the road tomorrow.
Where does that win, the celebration after, where does that sort of rank for your time here?
That's a good question. I went on the road in a conference and overtime. Those are always kind of extra. Especially I think Raquel showed me a graphic afterwards that there was a 99.9% chance at one time that we would lose. So you're telling me there's a chance. I'm hanging on to that. You're telling us there was a chance. So we played really poorly. Some of it was their doing, but played really poorly in the beginning of the game, the whole first half or so. And thankfully nobody kind of hung their heads. And I told the team at the halftime, I wasn't ranting and raving. I said, listen, that's in the past. Let's not let. We talked during the week is kind of living in the moment. Don't worry about what just happened. Don't worry about what's ahead of you. Just worry about the next play at time. And obviously we were able to get that done. So that was, they're all wins are good. Conference wins on the road are really good.
You've had, in the 2 TV games that you've had 2 really exciting games. I know the goal is to dominate, but does it help that you've had 2 entertaining games on primetime TV?
I always think we entertain, one way or another. It's, like people going to watch a NASCAR race. A lot of them just want to go and see a wreck or something. I don't know. We could be a train wreck at times, but our guys are playing hard. I think that's the one thing I'm most proud of, that we're playing hard all the time, and that's obviously the expectation and one of the tenets that we build our program on. But it's I knew coming in, if you'd asked them, one of you guys asked me about, okay, what do you think your conference schedule? I think we may be in some close games, and we're going to have to win some close games to have any kind of season. So both of our conference games have been really close down to the last minute. And, I would hope that we'll probably be in a bunch more. I'm not saying I like everybody else to be comfortable like we had against, East Tennessee State, but that ain't going to happen. When the rest of our schedule, we're going to, if we're battling in there and hanging in there to the end, we'll try to find a way to win. That's kind of what we'll do.
I feel like every other week last year you're talking about, before the deal was announced, you're talking about, I told him I'd play Sunday night, Monday, I don't care. Just put us on TV. Have you noticed any increased attention nationally or anything like that from this game?
I think a little bit. I think, certainly I noticed it after the first game, not as much in the last game, but I still think, people are still learning that, hey, Conference USA is playing the entire month in midweek. It's the new reality show, Conference USA football, right? And so I think that'll continue to grow, because I also saw somewhere like now there's the next 50-some days, there's 49 in the next 50 days are going to be either a pro or college game on TV. So we know what it is. And then we're having 4 games in 18 days or something. I know by the end of this month, I'll probably be fried. Maybe, holy cow, this October has been nuts. But we all know it going in, and I think, everybody in the league. Only complaint I would have is that most of the teams are 5, 6, or 7 day windows, but so is your opponent, before you play. I think we have one game where we got 6 or 7 games, and our opponent has 12 or 13 days beforehand. I don't think that's really fair, but it is what it is, and I think the exposure that we're getting now, I think we're getting some exposure nationally, and that'll continue to be the case over the next several weeks, or really the rest of the year.
Do you worry about the amount of the less rest that your guys are getting during these 4 games
Yeah, I have to be very cognizant of our practice schedules. Our practices are a little shorter. Last week we didn't do any practice in full pads last week. It was such a short. It was 5 days, but really it was 4 days because we were traveling. Now this week we went 1 day in pads. So and we don't not do any. Even our Saturdays and Sundays are really like Tuesdays and Wednesdays for us. We're letting them sleep in and going in the afternoon. I'm a big believer in the benefits of a good night's sleep for our players. So we try not to do anything early in the morning, and we're reducing the practice schedules a little bit. But you still got to have enough time to prepare. But it is, your depth's going to be challenged. We're probably going to be out a couple guys this week that if we had a normal schedule, they probably would be playing. But I'm sure everybody else has got a few guys banged up too, so it'll be the case for the next several weeks.
The over-under for this team in preseason was 4.5 wins. You're almost there, all set to go.
What was it that? I heard somewhere say we can win 2 or 1. I don't, and I couldn't. I mean, I'm not usually not a coach that I usually kind of tell you exactly what I think, and I didn't have over too many high expectations or low expectations. I just, I thought we'd be better than last year, but our schedule was going to be a whole lot harder. And the transition to 1A, where are we going to be in the next couple of years? You guys have heard me say this before. No, we're not. We're going to be better next year, and we'll be better the year after that. And our facility is still getting built, and the infrastructure for being a good group of 5 program is still getting established, I guess you would say. So we're a couple years away from where we need to be as a group of 5. Now we've won a couple games, and that's all good, but I'm brutally honest with our guys, and I'm honest with our staff. I'll be honest with you guys. We're still not at the group of 5 level that we will be or need to be in the next couple years.
How's Logan doing physically? Felt like he was struggling in the second half with something.
Yeah, he had a little knee sprain, so we check it out. We do an MRI. We do more MRIs than anybody in the country. If a guy gets something, he's got a little ouchie, man. We're getting the thing set, which is a good thing for a player's peace of mind. So we did an MRI. There's no structural thing, and so he's just a little sore. So I think he was better yesterday. He'll be better today. So he's fine.
And then just what did you see from him? Where he was at the start of that game to where he was at the end.
Yeah, at the start of the game, looked like he was a first-time player, which he is. He's still figuring out where to go, where to look, and in the end of the game, he was more comfortable. The thing about Logan and all of our quarterbacks, they're all competitive guys, and so, his confidence didn't get wavered, which it could have, because we didn't play well at all. I mean, really anybody in the first half, but he didn't have a good day, and But he knew what he was supposed to be doing, and he's still learning. I think, again, sometimes I forget this is his first year in the system, and I think every week and certainly every month, and the more games he plays, the more comfortable he'll get. Yeah, I was proud of the way he competed at the end. But we missed so many things in the first half, especially. We did not play nearly as well, and this is part of the key where we're at. When you have those big play opportunities that present themselves, in other words, the play call was happened to be on point, and they in the right defense for that play call, and you got a potential touchdown. You got to be able to hit those because we're not going to be good enough against the teams we play to drive down. There are going to be some big play opportunities, and if it matches up right, we've got to be able to connect on those. And thankfully, at the end of the game we did, but early in the game we didn't.
Felt like, I think Perry Carter said after the game that he almost didn't get his head around in time for that touchdown. Logan just had the ball in the perfect spot, and the timing was just great. I mean, is that kind of the next step?
Yeah, we've been late a lot of times. I think part of the things when the quarterbacks are still thinking and learning, they're a little bit late throwing it. If I've screamed that 1,000 times, I've done it 1,000,000 times. That we got to be quicker with our decisions and quicker with our timing, particularly when you play against pretty good fronts. And this was a really good, maybe one of the best defensive fronts, probably the best defensive front we've played so far. So we've got to be quicker with our timing. Our quarterback's got to get rid of it quicker, and they've got to process quicker. And I think that's the biggest thing that we're doing. We're still processing before we let it go. And at the end of the game, his processing was the best. So we've got to get that from the jump.
We saw Anwar a little bit getting worked in. What's the plan for him moving forward?
Slowly getting better. Last week he got a little bit. This week he's even showing better in practice. Well, he wasn't 100%. I think he's getting close to 100% now. And obviously when he is, he'll be in a regular rotation with Malik back there now.
What does Fred Perry mean to this defense?
You know, Fred's an aggressive guy. I mean, he plays hard all the time. And I always tell the guys, I'd rather say whoa than sick 'em. I ain't got to say sick 'em with Fred. But sometimes guys say, whoa, 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 his guy's going out of bounds, or he's got to, keep your head up, whatever. But he loves playing. I don't tell Fred. If you ask Fred, he'd want to be the starting tailback too. He'd want to play both ways. And I think he was a pretty good tailback, but he's a very aggressive player. He's got a great natural instinct, and the thing I like is that he loves playing ball. And I think we got a bunch of guys like that. That's the one thing we coach them hard and we practice hard and do all that stuff, but we want our guys to love playing football and to love competing. And because this is a game that if you kind of like it, probably won't have a whole lot of success. The guys that are the best at it are the ones that love it and need it. And Fred loves it and needs it.
And then Curly Young, it feels like when y'all need a guy to hit the quarterback or maybe force the quarterback to throw it away, it felt like he's the guy that's kind of been there for y'all.
Yeah, he's probably one of our best pass rushers. In fact, he's not. He is one of our best pass rushers. Chris Hardy's a good one. Jay Rock's a good one. And we got some pretty good pass rushers on the edge. But Curly's got a natural instinct to doing it. We knew that when we recruited him. Hey, this guy, if nothing else, he's going to be a pass rush specialist. And he could be more than that, and he is more than that. But he's made some big plays for us, for sure.
The sort of goal line stand at the end, I know they eventually get the touchdown, but were you impressed with the way those guys played? I mean, they had to go, I think, 7 or 8 plays down at
yeah,
the
it was
2-yard
line. I was kind of twofold. I was almost thinking, hell, we're letting them, they're eating up our timeouts and the clock, and almost got to the point where we're going to just let them score, so we have enough time left on the clock to go, get a touchdown, 2-point conversion. So that thought was there, but we kept battling, and never got to the point where we had to just let them score. But when you look at it from a standpoint of competing all the way to the end, they were doing that with that goal line stand. So, we played a whole lot better. Coach Allen and his guys did a great job at halftime, and in the first half we didn't play well at all. But the second half they looked like the defense had done pretty much all year.
So that was the goal, to let them score?
Yeah, if it would have been, if we'd have had a 1 or 2 less timeouts or something like that, we'd have let them score and tried to tie it up.
I think we see that sometimes where maybe teams burn too much time trying to stop them, that they can't give their offense enough time. Is that something y'all talk to the guys about and y'all practice, maybe knowing when we need to sacrifice that?
Nobody ever was, you're going to let them. What do you mean you're going to let them score? Whether, strategically, if they can run the clock out on you, and you only want to do it when you're down by 1. Other than that, doesn't make any sense. But if you're down by 1 or whatever, and you're not going to get the chance to get the ball back, there's an opportunity. And you also coach on the other side. When all you got to do is get a first down to win the game, you tell your guys to get a first down and get down. And you don't want to score a touchdown and go up by 8 when you could have just got a 1-point win. So those scenarios we go through, I've got a whole list, like 3 pages of scenarios that we cover in August camp. And some of them you may never use for years, and some of them you may. But that one was getting close to the situation where, hey, you let them score and get a chance to get the ball back.
What's the most unusual scenario on that list?
That's one of them. I'm trying to think there's some other. There's other time, like when you only got 10 guys on a, for whatever reason you got a punt block going out there, and somebody's not covering the wide out there. And do you burn a timeout, or do you, what do you do with that? For us, you take your returner and he goes and guards him, and then depending on whether how good the punter is, do you take a timeout while you're doing that? There's a kind of a whole list. I actually got it a few years ago. Somebody, I think that Bill Belichick had it, and he had a list that was 1 page long. And then through the off season, we found out, 2 more pages of scenarios you you'd want to cover for doing that. So it's the same like if a center, like for instance, this seems like a little thing, and this happened this year. If your center gets hurt during the game, it's happened twice with Trey Brown, you don't want him to be a tough guy. If he's hurt, jump up there and limp off the field real quick. You want him to stay on the ground with the trainer for a while so your backup center can get some snaps in. So you get a chance to get some snaps in so he's not going in there fresh and not having to snap the ball. It's not a big deal in under center, but in shotgun, he wants to, get – or if the quarterback gets hurt, you don't want him to limp off the field real fast, get your backup in and let him get a few throws in so he gets loose up. So, those are a couple just kind of off-the-wall scenarios that you want to be cognizant of. Hey, it's the center's hurt. Trainer, like it happened the first time. They're going to take Trey off the field real fast, and I told our trainer, remember, it's the center. Take your time. Let her get the backup some snaps. Be a good trainer and just pet him on the field there and give him some ice and water. And, then he can get off the field. So little stuff like that.
We haven't really talked specifically about Middle Tennessee State. What jumps out at them on film?
Their defensive front is big and been really good. I mean, even Alabama moved them at times, but a lot of times they didn't. So really impressed with them. They got some athletic guys offensively. Stock's always recruited good skill guys, and has always had good quarterbacks. They're a tempo team like us. They'll push the tempo and go fast. And so they've played on the big. Last year I don't know how bad they beat Miami really bad. And so they can play at a really high level. So we got a lot of respect for them. And athletically, they look like not just a solid group. They look like a really good Group of 5 program. They're going to win a lot of games this year. I mean, the toughest part of their schedule, when you're playing Alabama, you're playing Missouri, what have you. I mean, who else was it?
Colorado State.
Yeah, Colorado State's a pretty good football team, and Western Kentucky's, a lot of people picked them to win the league. So, they've played a really good schedule, and like I said, our guys know that.
Does that impact the way you watch film when knowing that they've played those type of opponents? Yeah,
and you're going to watch film, and guys can watch it and say, "Geez, this team looks really good," or "Geez, this team's not very good." If they're watching film the right way, which I hope our guys are. I know our staff does. I mean, you can watch a team and say, "Well, they're better than the record," or "They're worse than the record," whatever case may be. I really don't look at records much anyway. The only thing you might look at is, okay, what's their mindset coming in? But really, what their mindset is, we have no control over that. I mean, that's not a factor in anything that we do decision-wise, what their mindset might be. I'm only worried about our mindset. But we know, and I say going into it, I would hope our guys would know this is a good football team, and we're playing them at their place at a night game. Should be a great atmosphere.
Last week's performance, yeah, that was a crazy game. It was fun for sure. Offense, we kind of started out a little rocky. We couldn't really get anything going after our first touchdown. But we didn't panic, and we knew that wasn't us. We knew we were supposed to be better. We could do better. So second half, we just stayed calm, picked each other up, and just went out there and balled.
Was there a big difference, or was it just the stuff that wasn't working was working in the second half? What was the difference for y'all?
I wouldn't say it wasn't working. I just think it was more of execution on kind of the players' part. We practiced hard all week. The coaches set up a great game plan, every week for us, and I just really think we just really weren't executing. We missed a lot of big plays, a lot of big blocks on the end that could have probably helped Malik out, the running backs. The receivers we could have done better, in our routes and stuff to help Logan out to get open and stuff. So I wouldn't necessarily say it was anything different. It was just more of an execution thing.
Can you just tell us about the touchdown play that you had and just what you saw in that play?
We had a wheel route on that play. All week we were practicing for cover 4. So cover 4, it ends up turning into 0 a little bit. So when I was running it, I kind of just saw he had no safety help over the top. So, me and Logan just kind of have a good connection. Well, he does with all of us. But I just think he kind of just knew what I knew. I just saw grass, so I decided to just take it, and it worked out.
So you improvised a little bit there?
Kind of just a little bit. I mean, I had a little bit of freedom to do that, so yeah, just a tad.
How good did it feel, just to felt like maybe you got a little more involved than you've been the past couple games? Just how good did that feel for you personally?
I mean, it felt good personally, but I mean, I was really just excited for the room, really. We've been trying to get more involved. We just got to be patient. It takes time. You can't really just rush what you want, and it's really I was just happy to help out the team, honestly.
What was the conversation like before y'all go back out there? I think you had like 1 minute and 11 seconds left at the end. You need to get down there and get the 2 point. Just what did y'all say to each other? Or?
I mean, we kind of just knew we were built for this moment. Like, we practice in fall camp, even in the summer. I mean, last drives, we do that a lot every day, going super fast. We kind of just told each other we have no timeouts. We got to get lined up fast, get the ball in, and just go down here and win the game.
When you're in that moment, I mean, how much time do you really have to think, or is it just like you just go on autopilot?
I wouldn't really say you have any time to think. You just kind of just have to go out there, play, and react. In those, I feel like in the crucial moments in the game, you don't really want to try to think, because I feel like that slows you down. You just want to just go out there and play, do your best.
Are y'all going faster in that moment? I mean, y'all always go so fast. Like, is that almost normal speed for y'all, or is there an extra gear y'all hit when you're in that kind of situation?
Really, I would say that's normal. That's normal for us, how fast. I mean, in practice, we honestly go faster than what we do in the game. So we've been trying to pick up our tempo in the game just to go a little bit faster, honestly.
How, you said you were excited for the room. Obviously the game before felt like Quentin had a huge game.
Yeah.
And then the last couple drives, it felt like, Sean had a big catch and Perry and Quentin and you felt like a lot of y'all were getting involved downfield.
Yeah.
How much does that help if not just you but everybody else, if suddenly it's not, I need to make a big play, but there's a couple of us?
I mean, we have ball players on our team. I mean, not just me, not just on the offensive side, defensive side too, but I mean, our whole room, receiver, running back, tight ends, everybody can play. So, I mean, it's kind of scary. It's just we haven't really got a chance to show all of it yet, but I mean, all of us can play. Like, we're ball players, we're dogs in the room. So,
are y'all frustrated a little bit with that? Like, are y'all frustrated? Because it feels like when we talk to y'all that y'all consistently say, we didn't, put together one of our better performances passing. Like, is it a little frustrating y'all haven't done that yet?
I mean, I wouldn't say that it's frustrating. I mean, we know we're just doing our job. We're doing what helps the team, help us get the W at the end of the day. I mean, yeah, personally, I mean, everybody I feel like has their inner, I want to do this, I want to do this. But at the end of the day, if we end up with a W, that's all that matters in the end.
For seeing a guy firsthand like Quentin, who's come from Stetson and he came as a walk-on, became a leader on the team almost instantly and got a scholarship. Just what's it been like seeing him have success? Oh man,
I'm super excited for Q. That's my dog. That's actually like my roommate on the road. But nah, I'm super excited for him. I'm happy for him. He deserves it for real. Everybody does, but I'm happy for him.
What was the post-game celebration like?
Oh, it was crazy in there. It was too exciting. We was too lit in the locker room. That was a fun win for sure.
What's Rich Rod like after those
wins
like that?
I think after a game like that, he was super excited. I mean, he was in there having fun with us, so that was actually cool. Normally after the games, he's happy with us. He celebrates with us, and then he's locked in, ready to go to the next game. But I think he kind of enjoyed that one a little bit too.
Have you noticed, with y'all playing these TV games on the weekday, like Thursday's game, y'all were on at the same time the NFL game was on. Then the NFL game ends and y'all are kind of in that fourth quarter, that last drive, and then overtime. Like, have you heard anything? Any friends or family or maybe old teammates reach out to you?
Yeah, definitely my family. But a couple of my friends, they talked to me, said they watched the game. My family for sure, but I mean, I think that was just really cool, just to be on primetime TV in that moment and to win like that. I thought that was very special. Super cool moment.
Is it not that this is like the most important thing for y'all, but I mean, is it cool to know that there are people that are getting the chance to watch you that maybe wouldn't normally?
Yeah, for sure. I think I think it's cool because a lot of people don't really know about Jacksonville State or where Jacksonville State is or even who we are. Like, so I think that it's cool that we're getting like the exposure for people to see who we are, how we play. I just think that's cool right there. So,
What's jumped out about Middle Tennessee State when you watch film?
they have a good defense. They have a good solid defensive line. Their offense is pretty smooth, so they're a good team all around.
This is a team that is in the past couple of seasons, they've had a lot of interceptions. I think it was 20 last season.
Yeah.
How do you look to battle that as a receiver?
Just get open. Just try my best to get open and not put my quarterback in situations to where he has to try to throw the ball in, a tough spot where the defender can get it.
How do you know how do you sort of decide when maybe, if there is a contested ball, when to maybe play the ball and when to maybe just make sure that it's not intercepted? Like if the guy has leverage, maybe.
I mean, kind of like you just said, if he has better leverage on me and the ball's kind of going more going more to him, I'm kind of thinking I might have to turn to a DB on that play and just not let him get it. But if I feel like it's in a good spot for a one-on-one ball, then I'm gonna try to come down with it every time.
Last week's game, it was just came down to a dogfight. I mean, defense on the defensive side of the ball, they came out a lot of trick plays. You just had to key into a lot of details. So we got down in the first half, but halftime coaches talked to us. They just say you got to breathe, relax. Everybody do their 11-1. Everybody do their assignment. We'll come out on top. So that's what we did. Second half, just came out, kept fighting, getting to the ball. Everybody making plays, and we ended up getting the dub. Middle Tennessee, this game this week. So I know they're gonna challenge us on the perimeter a lot. So that's one of the things. Like their receivers quick, shifty. So we gotta play as one on defense. Like we know they're gonna make plays, because that's what they're supposed to do. So when they make plays, you just gotta stay calm. Everybody just keep doing their job and fight to the end. Same thing.
What was the celebration like after they win?
So the celebration, it was just crazy. Just a whole bunch of chants and stuff in the locker room. Just fun seeing everybody. Like everybody celebrated the win though. Like it's just fun seeing. I like to see the whole team happy. Like no matter how many plays somebody might have played that game, like it was just good to see the whole team happy about the win and everybody celebrating. It was fun.
What's Rich Rod like?
Rich Rod, he's happy. He was definitely happy. You could see a smile on his face. It was good to see that. But usually, like Pet said earlier, we'll get a win and then celebrate a little bit, but then you know that next week game coming, so you got to get ready to lock in for the next week. But I feel like he has celebrated that win, enjoyed it like we all did.
Middle Tennessee's got a pretty good quarterback. Just what do you see out of him as a defender?
Can you say that again?
Yeah, Middle Tennessee has a pretty good quarterback, it seems like. Just as a defender, what do you see out of him on film?
You see what he wants. Like he wants to throw the ball, and that's as a defender, like as a corner, that's what we want. Like we want to be out there being challenged, going out there making plays, just putting on for anything you have to put on for. I just feel like he's gonna challenge us a lot, and that's just what we want. That's what we want out of him. He's definitely a good quarterback, has a good arm. But I think it'll be a good game, competitive on the edges for sure.
So far this year, you guys have intercepted 8 passes, and amazingly enough, it's 8 different guys with 1 each. What does that say about your defense?
I just think we all in position, everybody doing their job. Like, that's one thing Coach Alley talks about a lot, 11-1. Like, everybody has to do their job. So it's just good. Like, I like it. It's good for the team. Good for the defense when everybody's just doing their job. You could depend on that person when a game come down to something like Sam Houston, like somebody got to make a play. Just do your job, key into your details, and we all be good. I feel like we could be a very good defense as long as everybody just do their job.
It feels like a lot of colleges will rotate maybe those front 7, especially defensive line guys. Y'all rotate everybody on defense. Does that change anything for you? Like, does that help you to have a couple series off? and kind of rotate in and out?
I mean, so it just depends on how you take it. So as far as me, like when I'm not in the game, it's still mental reps, because I mean, you know, they might come back to that play later on in the game and you get that same play. So when you're not in the game, it's mental reps, but the subbing and stuff, it don't really affect me in in a negative way. Everybody just paying attention, right by the coach on the sideline, locked in, ready to go if he needs you. But if you're not in, you just pay attention, make sure you missing no details, because one mess up, you can learn from your team the next person's mistake. So you get out there, you don't want to do the same thing. But now I think it's good to get a little everybody involved in the game. That's one thing Rich Rod also preaches, like he want to play the most players, but you got to be able to win with. So I mean, that's what we expect, and that's just how it is.
Are there things you can learn on the sidelines that maybe you might miss if you were out there?
It's definitely some things you can learn, like really recognizing a lot of formations, getting like calls and stuff, because defense is a lot of communication. Like that's one thing to success on defense, you have to communicate. So I say just you'll see certain little stuff like tight ends, end over sets, like stuff you got to communicate to the whole defense. So definitely being on the sideline, you'll definitely pick up on some few things, some key details that you need to be successful as a whole defense.
I mean, I think it was 17 minutes of total possession the offense had, and that's kind of almost becoming normal just with how fast-paced they are. As a
Right.
defender, like how much more in shape do you have to be with this kind of offense just to stay on the field for that long?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough at first, like when I first came here, just being introduced to going against offense that fast. But after a while, when you just do it for so long and you working at it every day in practice, and it is faster in practice than the game, but that's how it's supposed to be. That's the purpose of it. So now I feel like it's good for us. I mean,
When you have games like that where maybe the defense is going to need to be out there 35, 40 minutes,
yeah.
do you kind of need to be able to take a series or two off just to maybe catch your breath and physically kind of be good for the end?
It really depends. I say like if it's a team where we're playing a lot of man, then it's probably a few drives where you might get a drive or two off just to catch your breath. But if it's like a lot of zone, then it's not that bad. But I mean, we have the people for it, we have the depth for it, so it all just when your number is called, you come in and make a play. That's how it is. So
That pass interference that Derek got called for in the end zone, I felt like he was going for the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything else he could have done in that moment to avoid that?
Nah, we all talked about it. It's like we think it's nothing else he could have did. Once it happened, the refs told him to get his eyes turned back, but that's like one of the first things he did. So, I mean, it was a good play, bad call, but we just had to keep fighting. We couldn't let that like affect us, like, cause the game wasn't over. Like, you still had to fight, and if we would have let that bring us down, the game could have went totally differently. So, I think you just keep fighting. I mean, bad call, but just live for the next play.
And then what was it? I know they eventually got the touchdown, but I mean, y'all held them to like no yards for like 6 or 7 plays in a row. Just, what did you, when y'all, both in the moment and then when y'all went back and looked at the film, what did y'all like about what y'all did there and that sort of goal line series at the end? I
mean, so as you all know, like we have a good D line, and coming into the game, we knew like the offense wasn't like one of their strengths, but I mean it's kind of like what was expected almost. That's why I feel like the game plan was to come out and hit us with a few trick plays, because they kind of knew like we had a decent D line. They wasn't just gonna run inside zone the whole game. So I mean, just to see that, just to know like, okay, like they can't just do trick plays forever. Like they say, because we came out of the second half, the coach is like, they got to play football now. As like, I mean, we got a good D line. I mean, that's Coach Ali. He's sending heat at the quarterback all the time. It's kind of expected, but I mean, yeah, I feel like it's expected.
What's Zach like?
I mean, Coach Ali, He's very smart. Like, you know he's intelligent. Like, the way he watches film, like, it's crazy, like, how he call plays based off of, like, he'll pick up and find a play from just random, like, 2 years from previous years and then come back and they be like, oh, they might run this in this situation. And then they actually do. It's just crazy to have a coach, like, you could tell, like, how smart he really is when it comes to football and the time he puts into watching film. And I think that's what he pushed on us a lot. Like, that's one of his main things is recognizing formations. That's one of the most important things I feel like he has brought to this team and this defense is getting everybody to recognize formations because you play way fast on the field. You're not out there second guessing anything. So I definitely fun playing behind under Coach Allen as a D coordinator.
What's he like when y'all maybe make a mistake?
We make a mistake. I mean, he gonna draw it on the board. He gonna talk about it, but after that, only thing he can do is correct it, and then just keep playing. Like, especially in the game, you got a whole game ahead of you. You can't just focus on that mess. So you gotta keep going.
So is it like on the sidelines? Is he a big like? Does he kind of scream and get after y'all? Does he just kind of point stuff out? Like, how does he?
Nah,
kinda
it
react?
will. He will like time to time, but it's not like it's nothing like just to come at you. Like, we all know it's for like at the end of the day, we all trying to get the win, and that's just how coaching is. Like, but it's nothing. It's nothing to like come and attack us. Not he might raise his voice, but sometimes it's because it's just loud out there. Like, but nah, he just give you the quick corrections and stuff. He just wants you to be ready, make sure you're prepared to go back in for that next play.